Alright, shalom. Right. Alright, shalom. First I want to give up praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, level honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone Overwell. Peace, love, and citation to the brethren, the sincere, and pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. Alright, and I just want to do a quick edification, a quick video here through the Spirit of the Lord, right? Not sure what I might entitle it, but it's based on the lines of knowing the name, understanding the name of the Lord, right? Because I was having a little conversation with a guy on work, and I was basically conversing about the name, what is the name, right? And he spoke about the name being translated, which is incorrect. You can't translate a name, right? Your name is a proper noun, which can't be translated. So wherever country you go in, your name will be a name, right? So they just use, Christians tend to use that term in the sense that they will say that they translate the Lord name from Hebrew to English, which Jesus is not an English name, and it's not a translated name, it was a made up name, right? So one of the points he bring was Spanish, right? Spanish, you see, Spanish names get translated, right? For instance, you see Michael is Miguel, right? But then you have to go back into the original languages, original certain alphabets, right? Like the Hebrew alphabet, or some will say the Aramaic, which came about 3,000. The Aramaic came about 3,100 years ago. The Paleo Hebrew came about 3,000 years ago. Right, the Spanish language came about like 700 years ago. And the letter J came about in 1523, which is roughly around the same time. Right, so it's just a modern something new. It wasn't something from old, right? And as I say, name is a proper noun. So you could go to China, and there's something he was saying, if you go to China, they will translate your name. Your name cannot be translated, right? Because you wouldn't respond to something else. If somebody called you by the next name, you're not going to respond because that's not your name, right? The Russian president, if you call him by his name, the Russian president is from Russia, right? And if you see any name in English, it will always be Vladimir Putin, because it's a proper noun. So I just look into certain things concerning the Spanish, and it says how are English names translated in Spanish and vice versa, right? I'd say most English and Spanish names until about 30 years ago were based on Greek and Roman mythology, right? So when you go into the word mythology, it's based off of Greek and Roman mythology, right? A myth is something falsified, which is not true, right? Literature and the Bible base, right? It says, so they are already translated. If one's name is, say, Barbara in either language, it's just pronounced accordingly. If one's name is Elizabeth in English, it's Isabella in Spanish, because that's just the same name. James is Jamie, or Jacobo, or Santiago, depending on the region. So like carefully little noise eh? Right, so like yeah, what are they, right? This is just a quick breakdown, right? I might pull no scriptures, but it's just to edify, to show the importance of the name, right? It says John is one, Mary is Maria, Martha is Martha. It's very simple. Now, when I was in school, if one had a name that didn't fit the mold, Scandinavian or Irish mythological names that was a bit more complicated, Kevin became something like Pancoach, Scott was also Pancoach or Sancoach, Karen became Carolina, which isn't a direct translation. It says today in classes, rather than translating names, many teachers give classes a list of typical Spanish names and tell the students to pick one they like. I had one student in every class who had picked something dorky like Gordo or Godofredo. One of my kids insisted that Nacoach, which is actually a nickname, or Ignacio. One girl who wanted to be Mariposa, which is allowed but shouldn't have. It's difficult when the most popular names of the day includes Aubrey or Amber, Race Rider, and Boo. These are pretty untranslatable. Right? So the climax is it says in any case when you travel in a foreign country, you use your given name, not a translation of it. Right? So you don't use a translation of a name. So why would they translate the Lord name if your name is a proper noun? So we have to understand the power behind the name and why they did what they did by translating or making up a name, right? Because the scripture also say the Lord will send a strong delusion that he will believe a lie, right? And the world already under the illusion, believing that this name that they give is the name, right? When you read in the book of Judges, you understand that when the nation of Israel was under captivity and they call on the name, the Lord is to always deliver them. That is the power of the name. Scripture also said the name of the Lord is a strong tower, right? The righteous one enter it and is safe. So they know the power of the high-ups, they know the power of the name, so that is why they took it away. And they placed this name, and they feed it with lies. Right? So I want to go into something. Right? So I typed in Google, can a name be translated? It says names cannot be translated into different languages, but there are few exceptions to this list. If a name exists in a different language with a few spelling differences, then it can be translated only if it is in a book or a movie, right? Understand? If it is in a book or a movie, so that goes back to a myth, right? So yes, so understanding, so that is the understanding of translating a name. You don't really translate a name, it transliterate. So let me look up the word what I mean, right? Shit. transliterate. It says write or print a letter or word using the closest corresponding letter. Nah, no problem. Corresponding letter of a different alphabet. So if you say the translating, it's supposed to sound the same way in our next language using that alphabet or language. You understand? Yeah, so that is just it. Right? So in other words, the transliterate using the corresponding letters that it may sound the same way. Right? So that basically it. So hopefully this video is very fine. And I give all praises again to Yahweh Bashim and Shai Bashim Makakolas, the Lord, the Apostles, the witness to the world, Shalom to the Lord, hopefully like